Hello, and welcome back to Education Unpacked. Once again, apologies for the wonky video quality. I still don't have access to my usual space. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, subscriber, welcome back. Now, if you had the opportunity to view last week's video or read the blog post on the Teshley Solutions website, you'll know I made some projections, predictions, estimates, guesses as to how the Department of Education and Federal Student Aid was going to go about the first phase of beta testing in October. Well, I guess I'm baby's father from Dirty Dancing. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. If you recall, I had guessed that they were going to pull from those students who participated in the listening sessions, and it was going to be approximately 100. Well, that's not what's going to happen. And there are a lot of questions that are raised with this new information. Notice I said information, not details, because there are quite a few details missing. And I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure you will too. Please stick around till the end of the video because I'm going to call upon you for some information. But for right now, just let's get into what's happening. Now, again, the FAFSA technically is supposed to launch on October 1st, its normal historic date. But as we all know, it's only opening to a small group of students, and these are going to be what they are referring to as beta 1 testing. Now, it is going to be more than 100. It could be up to 600 or perhaps a little bit more, but probably definitely less than 1,000. So let's get into this. I will drop a link into the release that you can read for yourself. But if you don't feel like doing that reading, just let's go over the fine points and see if you can figure out how this is going to go, or if you form an opinion about how this is going to work. Sorry, I need these in order to do this. So rather than pulling from, again, the students and institutions that participated in the listening sessions, they have sent out a call to community-based organizations. And this is how it is going to work. This is what they expect from them. These community-based organizations should be able to recruit at least 100 students who, with their contributors, will participate in the in-person FAFSA sessions. Okay, now before that, it says that they are looking for between 2 and 6 community-based organizations. So that's where I got the 600 or above, because it says recruit at least 100 students and their contributors, which, if you recall, I said 100 students, which was my guess. That was wrong, was going to be a probably too small sample size. So the fact that they are going to have more participants in this initial phase is a good thing. That's definitely a positive. That may be the end of the positives. So let's look at a couple of other points on here. And this is where it gets, well, there's several places where it gets a little tricky. So here it is. Have students included in the FAFSA completion event who will apply to at least one post-secondary institution. So that's a college, trade school, something of that sort. All institutions that the student applies to, along with the relevant state and territorial agencies. Those are the higher education authorities of whatever state you live in, and they may not use authority, they may use another term, but that's what that means. Um, all education authority will then be able to receive and process ISRAs on or after October 8th. Now, if you don't know what an ISRA is, that stands for Institutional Student Information Record, and that's what the colleges and trade schools and all of those process. That's the back end information that up until now you probably didn't want to know anything about, but considering the debacle that happened last year, uh, I'm sure you've probably heard the term before. So that's it. Here's another point. These organizations also need to confirm interest in participating in Beta 1 with the Financial Aid Office at the post-secondary institution. So basically, these organizations are being asked to not only recruit and host these events, they have the additional layer of work of having to reach out to universities, trade schools, whatever these students are applying to, and confirm that they're willing to be a part of this. So this is going to be a lot of work for these community-based organizations. It's questionable whether they're willing to take this on in such a short time frame, because again, we're on August 29th here, and all of this would have to be set up and put in place by October 1st. Another interesting thing on this is that they want them to be able to host these events on or shortly after October 1st. Why is it that this entity has such an issue with specificity? Shortly after October 1st is subjective. Do they mean within a week, 2 weeks? A time frame would have been good to give these organizations so that if they decide to try to take this on, they know exactly what they're getting into. And note, there is no incentive for participating in this. The Department of Education, FSA, is not paying anyone to be a part of this. So all of this work, all of this effort will be solely on the shoulders of these community-based organizations. It does read further down in the announcement that interested organizations do not need to meet all of the above to express interest. And what will happen is there's an online form that's connected to this that they need to fill out. So I guess they will sift through these, find the ones that match the criteria that they set out the best, and then notify the 2 to 6 organizations that they have been selected and proceed from there. Which, again, I'm happy to see that they're trying to pull in more students than just the 100 that I had guessed based on the initial information that they put out. But here's a question. Now, whatever organizations decide to participate in this in good faith going forward, what happens if they don't meet their target dates? I mean, again, look at it from a current student's point of view. They know what happened last year. That they were, high school seniors, this year's high school seniors were there when last year's high school seniors went through what they went through. They may not be chomping at the bit to be FSA's crash test dummies. They may say, no, I'm going to sit it out and wait until they get more of the bugs out before I put myself and my family through this. So there are a lot of what ifs here. And again, the announcement is short on specificity. They do seem to be moving forward. They do seem to be wanting to really give this a go. But I think the problem is not what's happening this year. It's what didn't happen prior to this, what didn't happen prior to last year's launch. There was just inadequate testing on the front end and the back end. Again, what you as students and parents or guardians of these students see and fill out is just the first step of it. There's all of the things that have to happen on the back end. There are a lot of third parties involved in this, and the software just wasn't adequately tested. Um, on either side, the front end or the back end. And so they're still doing a lot of cleanup. Now, they have made some progress. They definitely have made some progress, but there's still lingering issues. Institutions were notified sometime in July that the batch corrections that they normally process, they would not be able to process in August. So that affects this year's college freshmen. And yes, there are still students that, even though they are on campus now or supposed to be on campus, they don't know what their final aid package is going to look like. Uh, huge problem for these students. And I actually work with one of those families. The student is on campus at her chosen college, but she just doesn't know what the final bill is going to be. If it's too big, for her family, it could be a huge problem. So, and that was the 24-25 FAFSA. So now we're ready to launch the 25-26 FAFSA because it's always a year ahead. So that's where things stand. If you found this information helpful and informative, even though it may kind of confuse you a bit as it does me, please take just a couple of seconds and give the video a thumbs up, like it, and subscribe to the channel, because I will be following up with additional information when they announce how phase 1 went and what the process for phase 2 is going to be. Remember, in theory, according to what they first put out, all students should have access to the new FAFSA by December 1st of this year. Thinking back to the previous FAFSA cycle, we know that the department didn't make all of its deadlines. As a matter of fact, it missed several of them. So we'll see how that goes. So based upon this information, one, if you are a member of a community-based organization, will you be putting in to participate in this? Please, use the comments to let me know. And if you are a student or parent, will you be willing to participate in this first phase of beta testing? I'd really like to hear. I know the clients I work with, I know where they stand on it, but I want to reach a broader audience. So again, if you could please, whether you're a community-based organization or a student or contributor, please drop a comment and let me know what your plans are. Will you be participating in phase 1? Will you not be participating in phase 1? Okay, so I didn't want this to be a really long video, so that's it for right now. As soon as any other information comes out, I will update you either here on the Education Unpacked YouTube channel or on the Teshley Solutions blog. And so go out and have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care, everyone.